Welcome back to the Professor's Lab. I'm Professor V, and this is another game from round one of our League Challenge that happened at Die Hard Games on September 25th, 2025. If you didn't know, Die Hard League happens every Thursday featuring casual and tournament play of whatever format everyone wants. October League Challenge and Pokeween 2025 celebration October 30th at 6 p.m. And Phantasmal Forces pre-releases start November 1st at 1 p.m. all Central Time, all at Die Hard Games. Go see more info in this video's description and check out Pokemon's event locator for premiere and other events at the shop, such as league challenges, league cups, pre-releases, and more. Please hit that like button right quick, subscribe to this channel, ring the bell for notifications, say what you need to say in the comments, and all that other good free stuff. But anyways, let's research this game. We're hopping into it. Started recording it after the beginning of the game since our other round one ended so quickly. Our Dragapult player on the right went first. Looks like they've had some Dreepy in play, attached to energy or something like that, and then passed over to our Gholdengo player, who got some stuff established, attached to energy to the active Gimmighoul, played an Ultra Ball to find another Pokemon to put into play, got their board nice and set up, and then went in for the continuous coin toss. Gimmighoul's first attack, and they flipped four heads. Let me see what that attack actually does so I can let you guys know. Let's see, the Gimmighoul continuous coin toss attack does 20 times. Flip a coin until you get tails. This attack does 20 damage for each heads. And our Gholdengo player was able to flip four heads, which was enough to KO the Dreepy in front of it for the first prize card of the game on their first turn going second. Then our Dragapult player starts their next turn here. Looks like they evolved into a Dracloak. Use Recon Directive to add a card to their hand from the top of the deck, put the other card at the bottom, and then they're resolving this Iono here that has both players shuffle their hands, put them at the bottom of their deck, and then draw cards from the top equal to their remaining prize cards, 5 and 6 for our players here. And I think that pretty much brings us up to speed. If I got anything wrong and the players are watching, just let me know. But the big thing was that continuous coin toss, four heads. So cool. As the Dragapult player now finds a Pheasantipity off of the Iono. Pheasantipity EX, of course, puts it on the bench. They play a Night Stretcher to re-establish a Dreepy onto the bench from the discard pile, and they're now resolving a Buddy Buddy Poffin. That item card allows the player to search their deck for up to two basic Pokemon with 70 HP or less to put onto the bench. You got all the Dreepy in play, so I guess you can get one more. You can also find some support Pokemon like that Budew or the Dusknoir, depending on what type of build this Dragapult deck is. And there we go. Dusknoir and Budew are the targets off of that Buddy Buddy Poffin. They did put that Pheasantipity EX in play because there was a KO on that last turn. So Flip the Script is live, and we're seeing it being used now to draw three cards from the top. Probably looking for a way to retreat without manually retreating and sacrificing that energy attachment, but looks like they have to manually retreat, giving up that energy into that Budew, who's got a free attack, excuse me, Itchy Pawn for 10 damage, and the opponent cannot play item cards from their hand on their next turn. It's trying to slow things down here because that Gimmighoul came out swinging. But the disruption didn't matter with that Genesect EX in play. Didn't matter as much, at least, as that Genesect does use its ability, Metallic Signal, to search the deck for two Gholdengo EX to add to the hand. Gholdengo EX evolves in the active spot and uses its coin bonus ability. Since it's in the active, it can draw two cards with that ability there. Love the ability use markers here. as our player eyes up their newly found cards and decides what's the next best move here, which is an Arven. That supporter card allows the player to search their deck for a tool card and an item card to put into their hand. So they can find that air balloon is a common tool played in Gholdengo here, and they're eyeing that up along with the pink card, pink ace spec item, Energy Search Pro. So they get a bunch of energy out the deck at the right time. Now is not exactly the right time, as the player adds those cards to their hand off of that supporter, attaches an air balloon to the active Gholdengo, giving it -2 to its retreat cross, free retreat it now has, so it retreats to the bench to a Gimmighoul, who instantly evolves into a Gholdengo EX, and then another coin bonus for 2 is used here. Drawing 2 more cards off the deck, Metal Energy found and attached to that newly active Gholdengo EX, and only 1 energy needed to be discarded here for that Gholdengo attack of Make It Rain. 50 times the amount of basic energy cards you discard from your hand, with that buddy only having 30, just the one needed for the next KO of the game. Dusknoir moves into the active spot on the right-hand side, and play resumes there. So our player is going to be looking for Dragapult EX, and if they play it, that Neo Upper Energy to be able to start Phantom Diving this turn. But Dragapult is definitely a play from behind comeback deck, so the player is probably not too worried right now, going down a couple prize cards in the board looking the way it is, as they first start off with a flip the script. Since there was a KO on their last turn, that Fezandipity EX draws 3 cards for the player here. Another Dusknoir is found and put onto the bench, as well as another Dracloak evolving on the bench. Lots of cards to be drawn here off of these Pokemon abilities still. So the player eyes up their hand and tries to decide the next best move. That would be the more aggressive move, is finding the Neo Upper Energy, if they even play it. So first going to start with the Recon Directive to look at the top 2 cards of the deck. Put 1 into the hand, 1 at the bottom of the deck. Recon Directive number 2 being used here to see the top 2 cards. And the player has to decide which is the best one to take right now and which one to save for later. Looks like they want both of those cards right now as they carefully decide which one to take. Looks like maybe a boss's orders went to the bottom. I didn't quite catch it there. Either way, second recon directive is resolved now. Their player eyes up the board, trying to make a game plan, meaning they must not have, if they even play it, Dragapult EX plus Neo Upper Energy, that pink Ace Spec Energy. If they play it, remember, big grain of salt here, provides 2 energy cards to a Sage 2 Pokemon, I believe, an Evolution Pokemon, powering up that Dragapult EX's Phantom Dive. They did have the Dragapult EX and decided to evolve it right now. That's a decision for our player. If you're not going to be attacking with the Dragapult this turn, then do you evolve it, or do you save the draw power that the Dracloak provides one more turn, as well as not put another 2 prize liability in the play that Gholdengo can feast upon? As the player plays an Ultra Ball, discarding 2 cards from hand to search the deck for a Pokemon, basic or evolution, and this time it will be the evolution Dusclops. We're going to start seeing some damage, more damage, hit the Gholdengo side of the board here. Assuming, yes, they evolve the Dusclops in the active spot, and it's got the Curse Blast ability. Put 5 damage counters on one of your opponent's Pokemon. If you use this ability, this Pokemon is knocked out, giving the Pokemon, or excuse me, the opponent, a prize card in exchange for some board control, damage control on their side. Now the Togepi on the Gholdengo player's board has 50 HP, so you could use Dusclops to knock that out, to take a prize, deny the Togekiss, kind of keep up in the prize race, catch up a little bit in the prize race, do some board control, not let the opponent sneak out any more prize cards, extra prize cards with that Togekiss ability. Or you could also put the 5 damage counters somewhere else to set up some big swing phantom diving turns, as our player is struggling between the two options here, as it is very tricky to play these Dragapult decks, in my opinion. So they are Curse Blasting here, gonna KO the Dusclops in order to put 5 damage counters on the active Gimmighoul, playing for the long game here, which Dragapult can do. Duskull then floats into the active spot. Still our Dragapult player's turn, so they fire off this Iono again. Both players shuffle their hands, put them at the bottom of their deck, and then draw cards from the top equal to their remaining prize cards. 3 and 6 here, causing some disruption to our Gholdengo player on the other side, and also reducing their hand size. But with a couple of Gholdengo in play there, the Gholdengo player is probably feeling all right. So Psychic Energy is found and attached to the Dragapult EX on the bench, getting it ready for Phantom Diving in future turn. And Countercatcher is played. That item card acts like a boss's orders supporter card, bringing up an opponent's Pokemon from the bench into the active if the opponent has fewer prize cards remaining than you. They do, so they bring up that Genesect EX with the most retreat costs there to try to stall a little bit to be able to gain some more turns to come back into this game. Our player on the left, the Gholdengo player, starts their next turn with another Metal Signal, finding a couple more Evolution Metal Pokemon from their deck, putting them to their hand. Gholdengo, EX, and Sizer are the targets this time. Thinning the deck out a little bit and being able to establish another Gholdengo EX before coin bonusing. Oh my gosh, they were Ionoed into the basic switch, allowing the Gholdengo EX on the bench with the air balloon attached to switch places with that Genesect EX. The stall, the countercatcher's stall, has been responded to with the basic switch that's been around since base set. All right, Gholdengo EX in the active spot now. And I think we're going to start coin bonusing. Coin bonus number 1 for 2 since it's in the active spot. Now that Gholdengo EX is going to retreat thanks to that air balloon into the other Gholdengo EX with the energy on it on the bench into the active spot now. It's got 50 damage on it, 260 HP, so not any fear right this second of it being KO'd from a Phantom Dive that does 200 to the active next turn. So another coin bonus for 2 with that newly active Gholdengo EX. More air balloons found, so yeah, that active Pokemon was not getting stuck on their side this turn as the Arven is played now. Just to find an item card here. Again, the Energy Search Pro is found. All the answers that were needed, even if there was a big Pokemon in front, the Gholdengo player would have been able to find. And then they discard a couple energy cards, doing 100 damage this time with Make It Rain, since 2 energy were discarded, enough to KO the 60 HP Duskull for another prize. Um, a question here would have been, does the Gholdengo player play the Arven this turn to find the Energy Search Pro, because they didn't use the Energy Search Pro this turn? So would it have been better to hold the Arven and keep the Energy Search Pro in the deck just in case of another Iono? We'll see if it ends up mattering for our players. Those are just the things I can observe here as Dragapult EX floats into the active spot on the right and play resumes there. Can our Dragapult player respond? Starting off with the Recon Directive with that Dracloak ability on the bench, looking at the top two. Going to keep the counter catcher, put the other card on the bottom, and then play the counter catcher right now to bring up that Genesect EX once more into the active spot. Then an Ultra Ball is played, discarding two cards to find another Dracloak from the deck, and it evolves on the bench. So we're going to go reconning one more time. Pheasantipity EX is live as well. But first, going to do another recon directive, okay? Looking at the top two, keeping one, putting the other at the bottom, and Professor's research is found, discarding the hand and drawing 7 fresh new cards. Sometimes you gotta let it all go and find a luminous energy to attach to the active Dragapult EX. That special energy provides an energy of any color as long as it's the only special energy attached. So the Dragapult EX is Phantom Dive attack that costs a Psychic and a Fire is powered up now. 200 damage to the active Pokemon and put 6 damage counters on your opponent's Pokemon in any way you like. Not before. Pheasantipity EX uses Flip the Script to draw 3 more cards because there was a KO on the last turn, the opponent's last turn. Anything else before we start swinging with this Phantom Dive? Nope. 200 to the active Genesect, then 50 on the Gholdengo EX that has 10 on it, bringing it up to 200 left, and then put the rest on the other Gholdengo EX so that way it has 200 left. Yep, that works out perfectly there. So now the Dragapult is setting up the math that they want, but is it too little too late? We'll have to wait and see. The 6 prizes are set up there as the air balloon is found for our Gholdengo player. So that way the Genesect can retreat to the bench into the Gholdengo EX with the air balloon and the energy. Next is Energy Search Pro. That allows the player, that pink A-Spec item card, allows them to search their deck for a basic energy of every type to put into their hand. Just 4 fit that bill this time. So now they need, let's see, with Make It Rain doing 50 times the amount of basic energy you discard, they need 7 energy to KO the 320 HP Ghost Dragon across from it. And I think I see 3 basic energy in the discard pile there, so they just need 1 superior energy retrieval to make this happen. Or, 3 raw basic energy cards. And with the Cypher Maniac code breaking, I'm sure it's there. That supporter card allows the player to search their deck for 2 cards to legally stack on top of the deck. And our Dragapult player sees the writing on the wall here as our Gholdengo player grabs 2 Energy Search Pros with the Cypher Maniacs, shuffles the deck, puts those 2 Energy Search Pro on top, and then the Gholdengo EX in the active spot uses coin bonus to draw 2 cards, drawing those 2 Energy Search Pros. Energy Search Pro, just number 1 is played to bring back 3 basic energy cards from the discard pile into the hand, and then 7 energy discarded, making it rain 350 damage on the Dragapult across from it, taking the last 2 prize cards of the game. Wow, that was cool. What do you think of this video and the commentary? Was there anything else our players could have done differently? Please leave feedback in the comments. Like this video, subscribe to this channel. Thank you for watching, and thank you to our players for letting their game be captured so we can all learn and enjoy. And I'll see you next time in the Professor's Lab.